they want us all clashing with each other. Because as we're clashing with each other, we're not looking at them. And they want everyone separated into gay, straight, black, white, BLM, this group, that group. You're all warring with each other. And whilst you're warring with each other, they're implementing so many laws that you're not even listening about. And all those laws are going to curtail and prohibit your speech.
Tommy Robinson just exposed Keir Starmer live on TV. All right, you're not going to believe what just unfolded on live television. Because while most people were scrolling past the usual headlines, something unexpected and honestly a bit explosive erupted right in front of millions of viewers. Tommy Robinson went off script. Keir Starmer did not hide his frustration. And the moment it happened, social media lit up like a wildfire. Let's break this down, because there's a lot to unpack and the fallout is only beginning. You know when a political show suddenly stops feeling like a political show and starts looking like a boiling point? Yeah, this was one of those moments. One viewer wrote, "I wasn't even watching, but the noise coming from my TV pulled me in." Another said, "This is the calmest I've ever seen Starmer lose his calm." Because the truth is, whatever Tommy Robinson said, whatever he exposed in that moment, hit a nerve of very real one right at the top of British politics. And it happened live, uncensored, raw, and with Starmer sitting right there hearing every word. Here's what went down. This was supposed to be a routine political discussion, the kind of segment where guests debate, disagree, maybe exchange some polite jabs, and then move on. But halfway through, Tommy Robinson shifted the conversation. He stopped arguing about general policy, and instead highlighted something he claimed the public needed to look at more closely, something he said was being quietly ignored. No wild accusations. No dramatic conspiracies. Just a sharply pointed observation about how certain decisions, under Starmer's leadership, were being communicated, or in some cases, not communicated, to the public. And that's when it happened. Starmer's expression changed. You could see it instantly. The slight frown, the pressed lips, the subtle shake of the head. It wasn't anger in the explosive sense. It was the kind of irritation politicians usually hide behind a calm smile. But this time, the cameras caught every micro-reaction. What Robinson exposed wasn't illegal or scandalous, but it was uncomfortable. He pointed to inconsistencies, delays, and communication gaps inside Labour's approach on several sensitive issues, especially those affecting everyday working families. Essentially, he exposed something political leaders hate dealing with. Pressure, out in the open, on live TV, with no time to prepare a crafted response. Now, here's why Starmer's reaction blew this up even further. This wasn't the typical, "I disagree with you," response. This was a visible shift, a moment where the Labour leader's frustration broke through the usual polished delivery. He leaned forward. He interrupted more sharply than usual. He pushed back, not with calm points, but with a tone that said, "I'm not having this today." One analyst on X summed it up perfectly. Starmer doesn't lose his cool often. So when he does, you know someone touched a nerve. And another political commentator wrote, "Whatever Robinson hit on, it's clearly something Labour wants to control tightly." Remember, this didn't involve personal insults or extreme claims. It was simply a case of exposing political contradictions on live TV, something politicians hate because they can't spin it fast enough. To really understand why this blew up, you need the wider context. The UK has been going through a period of political tension, cost of living pressures, public dissatisfaction, internal Labour disagreements, and rising frustration about transparency. People feel like they aren't getting the full picture. Like decisions are being made in rooms they're not allowed into. Like regular citizens are the last to hear the truth. So when Robinson pointed at communication failures on live TV, he tapped into a very real public mood. And when Starmer visibly reacted, it gave that moment power. Whether people agree with Robinson or not isn't the point. The point is, he said what many people have been thinking. And that's why the clip is blowing up. Within hours, political commentators reacted, journalists shared screenshots. Social media comments flooded in, Labour advisors reportedly circulated internal media notes, and viewers replayed the clip just to watch Starmer's expression again. One user on Instagram wrote, "This is why politicians don't like going live. No edit button." Another said, "Robinson just said what a lot of us feel and Starmer couldn't handle it." Whether that's fair or not is up for debate. But perception spreads faster than explanation. Behind the scenes, one political insider told a UK outlet, Starmer's team didn't expect Robinson to take the segment in that direction. They prefer structured interviews. These unpredictable moments can be risky. Meanwhile, members of the public had mixed reactions, but almost all agreed on one thing. This was not the usual quiet, composed Starmer. A voice note circulating on Telegram said, "Everything felt too raw, too real, like they forgot the cameras were rolling." And honestly, that's why the moment is gaining momentum. Not because it exposed corruption, not because it revealed secrets, but because it exposed pressure live, unfiltered, and impossible to rewind. Here's the big takeaway. It doesn't matter whether you side with Robinson or Starmer. What matters is that the exchange opened a doorway, one that political strategists hate, where the public starts asking, why did that point irritate Starmer so much? What is Labour not explaining clearly enough? And if the communication is already shaky, what happens when the next big decision hits the country? Because moments like this don't disappear. They linger. They raise eyebrows. They spark conversations. And the biggest question now is this. If this is what happened on live TV, what's being debated behind closed doors? Is this the beginning of a larger communication battle? Will Labour tighten its media strategy even more? Or will the public pressure grow louder as election talk heats up? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this wasn't just another TV segment. This was a crack in the polished wall of political messaging. And once that crack appears, it never fully closes again.